And we're back. Sorry for taking a week off unplanned, but it's when it happens. Family comes first. Had some family issues come up. Everything's all good. Everyone's all happy. It's fine. We had planned to start talking about the college basketball tournaments going on, the first and second rounds. But NFL free agency kind of trumped that with the Stefon Diggs signing, with the Russell Wilson signing. Our thoughts, our kind of lack of caring. And then we moved on to the NCAA tournament and started talking about just how college basketball compares to the NBA and just different things like that. So fun conversation. I know BJ was a little under the weather, so you hear less of him in this episode. It happens, but great episode. Fun to listen to. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to like and subscribe to us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Blue Sky, we're on YouTube. So give us a like. And we are back. Sorry for last week's interruption. We had a family emergency. Dorian's ex-wife caught fire, spontaneous combustion. Everyone's okay. Everyone's fine. This is Sandlot Sports. I am Adam Capperson. We are good.
It was the friction from sucking dick.
That is Dorian Cody over there.
No, don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. You're gonna put that man in court, and they'd be like, "So you're talking about your wife sucking dicks on the podcast?" No. That was me. She can bring me to court. I won't show up.
And that with the raspy cough is BJ Thomas. He is under the weather, but he is here for you. He is here for your entertainment.
Man. You're welcome.
So I had a rundown of what to do tonight. I know it's been a couple weeks, but then the NFL free agency decided that I'm just going to break all of your show. So here we are. We'll start with the signing from the New York Giants. They have signed 2 quarterbacks. They now technically have 3 on the roster. They have Tommy DeVito, Jameis Winston, and Russell Wilson.
So I don't know. Adam's way better than math than I am. When they do 3 things I don't care about, does that mean it's like 3 times the indifference?
It's actually factorial.
Same amount of indifference.
It's factorial, so it's 1 times 2 times 3, so it's 6 times worse.
6 times the indifference. That's what it feels like.
Look, I mean, New York. Is it safe to say that next season is just going to be a wash?
Yes. Now, what is really funny was a couple weeks ago we were on this very show, and Dorian, you specifically said the GM of the Giants can't fuck this up. And I beg to differ.
Right. I was trying to give homie some credit, man. Yeah, he man, it's like a train wreck just like on fire with gasoline.
They're gonna start to make a mold out of him to make dildos out of. So at least the Giants fan can fuck themselves instead of getting fucked by him.
First it was Saquon, mine, and now it's like, dude.
I still can't get over paying Darius Slayton $2 more million over the length of his contract rather than paying Saquon Barkley.
Dude, that's crazy.
I wouldn't even. I don't even pick up Slayton off the waiver wire.
And you don't even have to pay $1 for your transactions in fantasy. You still wouldn't pick him up.
No. No, I mean I've tried it. I've been down bad and tried it. And then I've cut him the next week, being like, that's not it.
We've all been desperate in multiple situations in our lives, and we've all done things we've regretted and immediately went, I'm going to undo this mistake.
Wow, man.
Dorian only gets desperate when he sees me on the schedule. He gets a little tight. If it's me or Zoe, he gets a little tight.
No, because you guys are like fantasy football, like devils. You guys try to swindle people out of deals, man. I would never trade with either one of you ever again.
It's not swindling. It's not even swindling. I've never tried to swindle you. I've made quality offers to you, but you're so scared that it might put me so far ahead of you, you won't do it.
It did, dude. I traded with you 1 year and you beat me. I traded with my cousin 1 year and he beat me. I said, never again. I won't trade with you guys. No. Every time I trade with you guys, it never works out. You guys end up beating me where it counts.
You see how he deflects and it's our fault and it's not the rest of the shitty roster that he put together?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. He initially traded because he needed to improve his team to start with.
No, the one trade that really worked for me, and actually worked for Adam, is the one that put me into the championship
Was
a
that the
couple
Joe
years
Burrow
ago.
trade?
Yeah, when I traded Joe Burrow after 3 shitty games for Terry McLaurin, who was doing okay,
Yeah.
slightly better than okay a couple games. So Adam's like, sure, whatever. I need a wide receiver. And then I don't know what happened. It's the same thing that happens to the Bengals every year. Joe Burrow won an absolute freaking tear to end the season. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, he did.
Put me in second place. The year after it, I won it with Josh Allen, who Adam stole from me at Gators Dockside Stadium.
He was eyeing him like a fat guy, eye is a cake. He's like,
I was holding my breath and I saw that. I was like, you bitch.
so the other NFL signing was Stefon Diggs to the Patriots.
I mean, it's a similar level to Russell
I
Wilson
thought
to
he
the
was going to the
Giants.
Cowboys, honestly.
I mean, I guess my question, not so much the Patriots, because I frankly don't care. But what does this say about Diggs? This is now his third team in what, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
He's
Well,
washed.
fourth team actually.
He's washed, and he might be slightly
Minnesota,
unstable.
Buffalo, yeah, 14. Yeah.
I think the second half of your comment is the big one. He's slightly unstable
That's what it feels like.
because it really does feel like wherever he leaves, they get better.
He get better, right?
That's not a sign of a good player.
Right, right, right. I mean, if any coach that could be a no nonsense coach that can, put him in line, I think Vrabel will be that coach. You know, maybe that's what he needs. Somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, man, shut the fuck up and play football."
Yeah,
You
that
don't
wouldn't
think?
work with Diggs.
No, you don't think D'Amico Ryans did that?
I don't know. See, D'Amico he don't come across as that in your face type of coach. To me, maybe he could have.
I mean,
Vrabel,
does
Vrabel.
Belichick? I mean, in all honesty, does Belichick seem like the fiery, get your ass out there?
I mean, for what I was told, Willie McGinnis did an interview and he said Belichick has no problem telling you like sit your ass on the bench, you're underperforming. You know, like Belichick isn't that in your face raw guy. I think Vrabel is. Uh, maybe that's something Stefan can improve uh as far as his character. I don't know. But a wide receiver like that with those type of issues, like you're gonna have to have like a firm coach to be able to weather that storm.
Would you rather have Stephon Diggs or Chad Ochocinco?
I like Chad. I was a Chad Ochocinco.
Okay. I mean, I know that BJ would rather have T.O., and I honestly I would too. T.O. bounced around, but he was productive everywhere he went.
You aren't going to arm
Diggs has
tackle
not been.
T.O. And you can't arm tackle T.O.
No,
Not at all.
You aren't just going to grab a handful of shirt and pull him to the ground.
no,
Good luck with that shit.
no. And Belichick will flat out bench a star defensive back for the Super Bowl. He did that
Mhm.
against the Eagles,
Yep.
and I still don't know why. I mean,
I
I've
wish I
heard.
had that much ego.
I mean, has anybody ever found out why he benched Malcolm Butler?
I don't know. I say run what you brung, and then just you go into the preseason and run the dog shit out of him until he tears a hamstring and make him sit the first 4 games. Makes sense to me.
So, um, NFL season will be interesting. I am so looking forward to it because, frankly, I am, getting tired of basketball already.
It sucks to watch. I tried the other night. It just
It's
sucks
like,
to watch.
and I will tell you this: I have been watching the NCAA tournament. I enjoy it more than I enjoy the NBA.
Yeah, college is way better.
Yeah, like I was watching the games that were on over the weekend, and yes, the kids still shoot threes, but not nearly the volume that NBA players do.
If basketball was math, college is the algebra. You ain't ever gonna use this shit in your profession, but we're gonna teach it to you anyways.
Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing with college basketball. I think they do shoot a lot of threes. It just matter if they do it within the offense, which makes it worthy to watch, right? Compared to NBA, come down, clear out, set a pick, you just jack it up, right? they're actually running plays. They're setting picks, and they're getting the shot that's available to them. Like when I was watching Florida against UConn, um, being able to come off those pick and rolls and being able to have the guard go from baseline to baseline to get open for a corner three. Like that's what you see in college. You run to run the plays. NBA, they don't run plays anymore.
Yeah, so I watched the Arizona Oregon game. By the way, fantastic game. And I want that kid from Arizona. What's his face? Caleb Love. I want him on the Magic like next season. He's a senior. He can be on
Yeah, Caleb was the
the. But they scored 170 points. Okay, 87 to 83. They shot a total of 43 pointers between the two teams. It was all get the right shot, drive, kick out, find the right shot, move the ball around. It was nice, fun basketball to watch.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes it's tough watching the Magic play. It's tough watching an NBA game because VJ's right. It's dribble down, jack up three, dribble down, jack up a three. It's like it's not entertaining.
I'm glad to beat the Lakers though. So
That was fun
that was good. It was
on Dwight
non-sexual
Howard
again.
night.
Yeah, on Dwight Howard. Shout out Dwight Howard. But yeah, college basketball. Um, another team that I was watching was the St. John's Arkansas game, right? I think like for what I've seen, like John Calipari, right? Like I know there were some talks about, hey, can he really coach because he had like a freaking college all star team when he was at Kentucky, right? But seeing him transition over to Arkansas and he doesn't have all those players, like for me, I saw good coaching because he got those kids to play hard. And his center that he has, I keep thinking the his name, kid with the long locks. Um, Putting him in position to where he can hit those 15-foot shots. He hit like a 20-footer. Like, the development from when he started at Arkansas until now, as far as that kid, like for me, I think that John Calipari should get his flowers, man. Like I saw improvement on the Arkansas basketball team.
Well, and it's been interesting watching both Calipari and Patino when
Mm-hmm.
even though they coached against each other on Sunday, I think it was, or Saturday, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just kind of the maturity of them, even this late in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Because Calipari, I agree with you. When he was at Kentucky, it was like, okay, well, he can roll out a McDonald's All-Star team and get 30 wins a season. How much coaching is that? At Arkansas, he's not doing that. He's really shown that he can adjust.
Mm-hmm.
And Patino at St. John's, we talked about it last year, that he went on that epic rant, basically said that I've been here 7 months. These kids can't even throw a bounce pass. And look at them now. So, I mean, it, they have shown to me that they can adjust,
Mm-hmm.
which is more than most NBA coaches can do.
Very true. Very true. Um, Another team that I was paying attention to in the tournament is Houston. Um, Houston, one of those hard nosed, gritty teams. Houston reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember the uh, the Arkansas Razorbacks when they had Corliss
40 minutes
Williamson
uphill.
and those. Yeah, so they remind me of that because it's nothing for them to go, okay, we want to go ahead and close this game out. We're going to pick up, you know, at as soon as they bring the ball in, we're just going to pick up the ball. We're playing man, you know, and it's just like they're like relentless on defense, man. It's good seeing that.
Well, and that is one of the biggest difference between college basketball and the NBA. They play defense.
Yeah.
Like all of those kids play defense. I, yeah, I can't name 5 players outside of the Magic and the NBA that play defense. I can't. So, but what I thought was interesting now, again, had Dorian's ex-wife not spontaneously combusted last week, we were going to pick our bracket. And we were going to kind of do a thing. I still did mine. Um, I suck. I'm literally middle of the pack. But what I thought was interesting was I did two. I did my picks, and then I had essentially Clippy, Chat GPT or whatever ESPN uses to make their picks. Okay, I am middle of the pack. I'm about 50th percentile. The AI one, 32nd percentile. So it goes to show you that analytics compared to just the eye test, yeah, not there yet. And Dorian, I know before we started the show, you were talking about Asante Samuel saying that his analytics are better than Deion Sanders. I don't
That's it.
care.
That's what he said.
I mean, like using that argument, you're saying that LeBron James was a better player than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, and Magic Johnson because he has more points. That's the same argument,
Yeah.
and it's unbelievably wrong.
Unbelievably wrong.
I mean, it's saying that Marvin Harrison was a better receiver than Jerry Rice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's just like again, there are lies, there are damn lies, and then there are statistics. Deal with that as you may. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use analytics to make decisions. I mean, the A's improved with Moneyball, but the A's never won a championship.
That's true.
Okay, the Boston Red Sox, they went all in with analytics, but you know what they also went all in with? Paying a lot of money to people to use those analytics.
He sure did.
So, and that's when they won championships. It wasn't they booked the course of the Bambino. It's like no, they used the tools that some nerd taught them, and had better players.
Right.
But speaking of statistics, Dorian, I want to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you name the top 5 scorers in the NBA since the All-Star break?
This year, I want to say SGA.
Okay.
Uh, I think Kyrie's up there, right?
Nope.
Kyrie?
Nope.
He's not? Okay.
Nope.
All right, no Shy. Giannis.
No.
Giannis not top 5? Oh
Nope.
no, I think he's like top 10. Um SGA, I'm trying to think.
BJ, you can chime in. I just know it's hard to talk.
Paolo?
Kevin Durant. Okay. Shy, Kevin Durant.
No. BJ's right.
What?
Paulo. No, Paulo's
Paolo's
number
top 5?
2. Number 2 in points per game since the All-Star break.
Oh shit. All
And in
right.
fact, ever since George Niang started to get up in his grill, the Magic have won 4 of the last 5.
Mhm.
I sent you guys that clip of Apollo going at Niang,
Mhm.
and what Paulo said to him. I mean, the clean version. That one hit home.
Yeah.
Like, you're only good because you're on a good team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was that Weaver cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But but I mean that's what we needed, man. We needed some type of like fire, man. Like, you know, something to just get us sparked and ready to go. I mean, I think right now are we like a game away from the 7th seed?
Okay, so as of right now, the Orlando Magic, not the Dorian Cody Magic, the Orlando Magic are a game behind the Hawks.
This
They're
is my magic.
anyways, the Orlando Magic are a game behind the Atlanta Hawks, who are currently losing to the Houston Rockets.
Mm.
So if Atlanta loses that game, the Magic will be a half a game behind them.
Okay.
Now, the Magic do play the Hawks twice in the final week of the season.
Mm.
So as long as they can kind of stay together,
Yeah.
they have a chance. Now there are like I think there are 2 games, 2.5 games. Yeah, 2.5 games up on the Bulls for the 8 seed.
Mm,
So unless they fall apart, they're pretty much locked in that 7-8 game.
all right. But if they stay the seventh seed, they play the Celtics first round.
Okay, so it really doesn't matter whether they're 7 or 8. What the difference is where that 7-8 game will be played.
Mm,
So just remember, 7 plays 8. The winner's the 7 seed. So it doesn't really matter where they
oh, gotcha.
finish, as
Okay.
long as there's that. Now it's nice to have a home game.
Mm,
Not gonna lie. So, but yes, the winner of that 7-8 game plays number 2, which is probably going to be the Celtics,
hmm
unless Cleveland keeps imploding.
Yeah.
Cleveland's lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
You know who started that losing streak?
We did.
Magic.
Magic.
Magic did.
Yeah. Um, also too, I noticed with Cleveland, um, Donovan Mitchell, uh, he doesn't like to pass in the fourth quarter.
Or the first,
Like he,
second, or third.
right. But especially the fourth quarter because like there were times where like um Max Struess was like open and he was like, "Fuck this! I'm playing hero ball," and it just fell right into our hands.
And that's something with Mitchell is when he is on, he is on.
Hmm
When he is off, he doesn't know that he's off. And
I
you'll
know
notice,
everybody's screaming for him to come to the Magic a couple of years ago. That's
I
not
remember that.
gonna
But like a guy like Shea, when he's on, he can drop 40, no problem. When he's off, he'll get 10, 12 assists. Jokic is the same way. Giannis is the same way.
hmm
They're really great players. When they know they have it, just keep feeding them. But when they know they don't, they will let you know.
hmm Yeah,
And Mitchell hasn't, I wouldn't say he hasn't learned that yet, because if you haven't learned it by now, you never will.
yeah, yeah. Especially at this point in his career. So
Yeah. So, um, and it's interesting because I don't know if you guys saw, because I know it was kind of late breaking before we came on the show. Damian Lillard's out for the year.
hmm
And I don't know if he'll play again because that's what Chris Bosh had that
right.
ended his career. So I hope he has a full recovery. I hope he can play again, but he's definitely out for the year. Um, so the Bucks probably aren't winning the title again this year.
Yeah.
And somebody asked a question on social media. Um, if Kevin Durant's foot is a half a size smaller and the Nets beat the Bucks that season, are we looking at Giannis differently? Because he would not have had a title and probably isn't going to win another one.
I don't think he would still be in Minnesota or Milwaukee, excuse me.
hmm
Probably not. It's funny how that one like little misstep has all those ripple effects.
Fate.
Yeah,
I think Giannis wants out of there anyways.
especially now. I mean, if Lillard's out, if he doesn't play next season, I don't think Giannis plays in there after next season. I think he'll get traded midseason.
I can see that.
What's a good landing spot for him? Just you know, like ideal, I should say, in your opinion.
Well, that I guess that's the question. Does he have a no trade clause in his contract? Because otherwise, it's just wherever I can get picks.
Right.
Put him on Phoenix.
um, I could you see like Oklahoma City making a trade for him? I mean, they got assets, they got picks.
I don't think he would fit well with that team. I think that is Shea's team. Everyone knows it, and I think if you put a guy like Giannis there, it gets a little wonky.
Mm,
And the only reason why Luka in LA works is because LeBron knows that he's on his way out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, speaking of teams, Sacramento. I was reading something, and they were saying that Sacramento should relocate to either Seattle or to Vegas because they said like as far as the fans there in Sacramento, they said it's not the same, and they're saying that and since they traded uh De'Aaron Fox, they said like the numbers are plummeting. So they're
Because the
saying
team is shit. No,
but
I mean, yeah.
yeah, but
If
them
if the
relocating.
product on the court when the Magic were terrible, were fans lining up to go? No, that stadium was half full, and the other half was full of opposing fans. If your team is trash, you're not going to get fans in the stadium.
Yeah. But even when they made the playoffs, I think it was last year, when they made the playoffs, they still weren't selling
The
out
hell they
either,
weren't.
or they were still tripping.
The hell they weren't. They were definitely selling out.
The Kings?
Oh, the Kings? No, no. I
Yeah,
thought you
that's
were
about the
talking
Kings,
about
not
the
the
Magic.
Magic. The Kings, the Kings, the Kings been struggling. It's like the golden years when they had like C Web and Bibby and Divock and Peja. Like once that passed, like they've been plummeting. So they were like, why don't they just like send them up to Seattle or just go ahead and go to
That's
Vegas?
not going to fix the problem.
I think it will as far as I think if if the Kings if they were to relocate to a Las Vegas or to a Seattle, um, I think that it will put some emphasis and force them like, hey, like especially in Vegas, you can't bring a team in Vegas and suck, right? Because that's like
Why
a
the
known
Raiders are doing
destination
it?
where
The
everybody
Raiders are
comes to
doing
go
it.
see.
The Athletics are doing it.
No, no, the Athletics, they're not there yet. But when they do, I'm pretty sure that they're going to have to improve, especially all that money they spend on that stadium, especially the Raiders. I think that the Raiders are trending up, right? Like, is it
The
going to happen
fuck are
overnight?
you
No, but I think it's a.
smoking?
I said they're trending up. Is what I said.
It'd be
They are trending
fiscally
up. What I
it'd
mean
be
by that
fiscal.
is like if you okay, all right, you relocated to Vegas. All that money they put into Vegas, like they're going to have to be able to improve the team to where they can get more people to come to their games. I'm not saying that they're going to improve next week, but they are trending up as far as it's like, okay, they got a better coach, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that Pete Carroll is going to have them playing a lot better, and they're going to have a better record next year than what they had last year. So they are trending upward in that way. But my point is Sacramento, if they go to Vegas or they go to Seattle, it's going to force that front office to be able to make changes. They're not making changes because it's like, why are we making changes? People not coming to the games and our team shitty. We ain't doing shit.
So spending hundreds of millions of dollars to move a franchise to another state is the answer. It's easier to keep customers you have than it is to get new customers. So if they just improve the team where it's at, it'd be fiscally more responsible to improve the team in Sacramento than it would be to move them to Vegas and have to reestablish a fan base.
Yeah.
Well, whatever, we're gonna have to reestablish a fan
Yeah, it
base
is. Ain't
because
nobody in
those
Vegas
fans in that
rooting for
city
the.
is gonna want to
Nobody
come
in
and
Vegas
support.
is rooting for the Kings right now. And when people leave a city, they wind up hating that franchise. You think people in Seattle root for Oklahoma City?
I think some of
Absolutely.
them do.
Well, shit.
No.
Bet not.
I said some of them. I didn't say all.
Yeah,
I
but
said some of them.
some could be one of 1,000, or some
Yeah.
could be
And there's
nine
2%
hundred
of the
thousand.
population that think the Earth is flat. Just because there's
Yeah,
some
no,
doesn't mean there's a lot.
no. I'll give you an example. My great grandfather was one of those people. He was born across the street from Ebbets Field in Brooklyn,
Mhm.
and then the Dodgers left, and his heart was broken. He watched the Dodgers, but it wasn't the same. It's you're gonna sever ties with that city. You're gonna lose money.
The Raiders have been in Vegas for 5 years. You said they're trending up.
I said now they're trending up because they got the better coach. I'm talking about the coaching. I think the point I'm trying to make is for Sacramento. Sacramento is so close to San Francisco to where it's like if the Kings were to move and go to any other place, like those fans are going to end up. Most of those fans are either uh Golden State Warrior fans, or there's yeah,
The
most of them are
the
like Golden State
Berkeley
Warrior
Center
fans.
sells out every game for the Nets.
Who does?
The Berkeley Center for the Brooklyn Nets. They sell out every single game. That team is crap, and they share the market with New York. They sell out every single game.
Right,
Okay,
but they're a
the
bigger
the
market
Clippers
than
the
Sacramento.
Clippers sell out every single game, and they
Right, but
share a stadium with the Lakers.
they're in Los Angeles though. Sacramento is a small market team, so they're not
You
gonna. They don't have any. Sacramento doesn't have those loyal fans as they used to.
I would almost argue that the fans that they had back in the 2000s were bandwagon fans. They weren't loyal fans.
I don't know because they back in the day they sold out all of their games when they were winning.
Yeah. I, thank you for proving my point. They are bandwagoning fans.
Yeah, but
But
but that's anywhere though. I mean, for the most part.
Boston, when that team was crap with Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce, they were still selling out. The
Right.
Knicks sell out every time. The Hawks sell out every single time. Atlanta's not a large market.
I mean, the Hawks sold out every time.
Yeah. So the Kings' problem is not the location. The Kings' problem, well, it's who's sitting in the GM seat.
Yeah,
That's their problem.
yeah.
And moving their franchise to Sacramento, to Vegas, to Seattle, to the moon is not going to solve your problem. It's exactly as BJ said. It's a stupid idea that is going to cover up the fact that your team sucks. I mean, their general manager is Monty McClare. I've never even heard of this guy.
I thought it was an Indian guy who owned a team.
No, talking about the general manager.
Oh, Jim. Oh, Jim.
The owner is Vivek. Yeah, he's some. Where is it? Where's he from? Indian American.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, this is the problem with sports teams just as a whole. I'm not going to blame Vivek. It's not just him, but it's not just sports teams. It's kind of industry and organizations wide. Is you have people that are running these organizations, whether it's a sports team, whether it's a financial institution, whether it's a freaking software development company, that have no idea how to actually run the damn thing because they didn't come up in it. Back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, people would have an idea and grow up with the business, and they would know what it took to lead that business in the industry because they knew all the ins and outs. Okay, but now you got these people that are buying airlines, buying space rockets, buying sports teams that have no freaking idea what they're doing. They just have a bunch of money and buy something because they think it makes them look cool.
Yeah.
And what do you get? You get the Sacramento Kings, and you get SpaceX who blows up rockets.
Agreed.
You know, spontaneous, unexpected, rapid disassembly. No, the damn thing blew up.
That was clever. Yeah, that's an alternative for saying blowing shit up.
Taxpayers' money, all scattered out the atmosphere. Look at that. So, I had a question for you guys if we're done ranting about the NBA. So, I was scrolling through, and somebody said that if I gave you five names and only one could make the Pro Bowl, you tell me. Aaron Rodgers, George Kittle, Lamar Jackson, Tyreek Hill or Mike Evans? Only one.
Only one makes the Pro Bowl?
Only one makes the Hall of Fame.
Who's Hall of Fame?
Mike Evans.
We talking about stats, right?
However you want to qualify it. If you want to qualify it with stats, number of catches, number of babies, number of ex-girlfriends, I don't care. Whatever you want to say.
If that's the case, you gotta give it to Tyreek Hill. If that's the case, he wins. All right, so Aaron has a Super Bowl.
So does
Tyreek
Mike.
has a Super Bowl. Yep, Mike Evans has a Super Bowl. Um, as far as numbers, oh man, you kind of gotta go with Rodgers.
BJ didn't. He was very quick to save Mike Evans.
Is Mike Evans? Is he like top 5 or top 10 like receptions or yards or something like that? Or
I'm pretty sure he's had a 1,000-yard receiving season every year he's been able to.
That is good. Every year, period.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's you can either
So,
or.
yeah, he is currently 24th in career receiving yards.
And where's Aaron Rodgers for his passing yards?
I will let you know in just 1 second. I know he's up there.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is 7th in career passing yards.
Um,
And
I
I will
would
tell
say,
you that
mhm,
if Mike Evans gets another 1,000 yards this year, let's just
mhm,
pencil him in for 1,000 yards, he will then be 17th in career receiving yards.
mm, mm. I would say for me, I would say Aaron first, Mike second, and then Tariq Hill.
Okay. What has Aaron done to qualify for the Hall of Fame, other than being the second best regular season quarterback ever? Because it sure as hell ain't his postseason success.
Right. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about as far as his uh he's seventh all time in passing. I don't know how many I saw a stat. They were talking about him. I saw a stat. They were saying that he has. Is he up there as far as the most touchdowns during the regular season?
I'm sure.
Quarterbacks.
Okay, most regular season passing touchdowns. He is 5th.
Yeah. So seventh in most yards, fifth in most touchdowns regular season. Um, he has a Super Bowl. I think he's been to the Pro Bowl a couple of times. He's been first team a couple of times. Of the people that we've named, yeah, like he's,
Okay,
you know,
let me
I think he's deserving of.
okay, let me flip that then. Okay, I agree with BJ. Mike Evans has been the most consistent player on that list.
Yeah, I agree.
Would you put Philip Rivers or Aaron Rodgers in the Hall of Fame first?
Mm, hmm, that's a that's a good one.
Rivers is 6th in total touchdown passes,
Mhm.
6th in yards.
Yeah. Thing about it is, I think, I mean, if you look at the people who has that golden jacket, a lot of them they're going to rank championship as up there. Okay, like you have all those accolades, but do you like to set you apart? Do you have a championship?
Dan Marino doesn't.
Yeah. You're right. He doesn't.
Jim Kelly doesn't.
Right. But among the people that you've named, right? So let's say for instance, if Philip Rivers and Aaron Rodgers were both going in at the same time, I think that people would choose Aaron Rodgers over Philip Rivers just because of the ring factor, because he has a championship.
I actually think it's reversed. I think they would pick Rivers over Rodgers because Rodgers is such a fucking jackass.
That-
I mean, and that means something.
um, yeah, I guess. Did Philip Rivers ever go to a Super Bowl? No,
No,
right?
no.
Oh no, that's right. He had to go through Brady and Manning. Damn, man, he didn't have a chance because you're either going to face one of those two to get to the promised land.
He is the Reggie Miller of the NFL.
Yeah, precisely. Damn, man, he didn't have a chance. It's like being an AFC quarterback from the late '90s into like what 2017. I think Brady's last championship in AFC. No, not 2017. It was 2018. I guess it was 2018. It's like damn. Like even if you beat Brady, there's a chance where you know that damn I got to go against Peyton Manning, and vice versa. You know, man.
Who would you rather play in the Super Bowl, Peyton or Eli?
Shit, neither one. But I mean, I I would rather. Oh, that's
I know BJ's answer.
yeah. I know he's good. I know he's gonna say definitely Eli. I mean, anybody with last name Manning, I don't want to play. You know,
Cooper,
but if I had a
Arch.
choice, yeah,
Eli.
neither. I don't want to play against any man. If you had to choose, I mean, of course, I'll take my chance of going up against Peyton.
Peyton's
You know,
lost the Super Bowl. Eli
yeah,
hasn't.
right. Eli hasn't, and like Eli had a gutsy performance to the point where like, so somebody sprinkled some like magic on him, and he's just like eluding out of tackles and making the right throw, especially that throw that he when he passed the ball to Mario Manningham in that one Super Bowl. What was it? That's Super Bowl one or two?
That was the second.
The second one
Helmet
where
catch
he
was the first.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, somebody said one time that the Hall of Fame is reserved for people that you can't tell the story of the sport without. Okay, it makes sense. Like
Mm,
you can't tell the story of the NBA without Shaq, without Magic, without Larry, without Mike. That makes sense. You cannot tell the story of the NFL without including Eli Manning, who, by the way,
mm,
did not make the Hall of Fame this year.
okay.
Travesty.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really because of those two unbelievably iconic plays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the helmet catch, watching him get out of that sack was amazing. And then finding Tyree down the field. But yes, the pass that he threw to Murray Manningham is probably the prettiest pass I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was. Yeah, that was a perfect throw. Um. Yeah. I mean, yeah, which is a travesty that you're right that he didn't make the the Hall of Fame. He just beat like arguably something like the greatest quarterback of all time. He beat him twice.
Beat him twice.
He's the only person that can say I beat him twice
Yeah.
where it counts. I
And
beat him twice.
and again, on two of the most iconic plays
Mm-hmm.
of all time. I know NFL Films likes to do that kind of like top 10 plays from the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are top two, like
Absolutely,
in my mind. It's
absolutely.
just the way it is.
I don't know, that throw to Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone by Ben Roethlisberger is up there.
That's up there too.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah.
And the catch by Julian Edelman against the Falcons.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
When he caught it twice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Um, think of another.
I mean, everyone's going to talk about the Lynn Swan catch when Bradshaw threw it from his own end zone and Swan like bounced it off the defender and then caught it diving. Like that's a great catch, but I don't think it's anywhere near what we've listed.
Yeah. There was some. There was some other uh passes too that I'm trying to think of. It was one that happened with. It was one that happened recently. I think a couple of years ago. I'm trying to think of it. Uh, it was the. It was the Jefferson catch. To where he was. I forgot what team he was playing against. They threw him the ball and then he caught it with one hand and then he tiptoed into the end zone. Trying to think of what team he was playing against. I can't think of it, but it was a catch to where he was catching it and then like he went in and then he did an out route and then he ended up catching the ball with one hand and then he like kind of tiptoed in the end zone.
So
Um,
here's a list that was made after this year's Super Bowl, so it is updated. Okay, so number one's the helmet catch.
mhm,
Number two is the James Harrison end zone to end zone interception return.
mhm,
Number three was Malcolm Butler's pick. Number four was the Santonio Holmes catch.
mhm,
Number five was the Maury Manningham catch. Six was the Philly special. Seven was the Mike Jones tackle on Kevin Dyson.
I remember that.
Eight was Marcus Allen. Nine was John Taylor. And 10 was Lynn Swan.
Mm. The greatest plays of all time.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Edelman's catch was number 12.
Mm.
And and look at this list has me thinking. So, like, Cam Newton, if he dives for that fumble, let's say he picks it up. Let's say he miraculously picks it up. Is his career different? If Because they were down 16-10 when he fumbled. If he dives for that fumble, recovers it, and they go down and score, is his career looked at differently?
That's the game against the Broncos, right?
Yep.
I think they still would have lost. So, I mean, uh, because that defense was nasty. Like they had no Carolina had no answers for defense, man. I mean, you had Von Miller on one end, you had Marcus Ware, you had Derek Wolf, you had linebackers. Like he was just. I think regardless if you dive the ball or not, they would score. They still would have lost.
Okay.
In my opinion.
So obviously that doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
What about if Seattle scores a touchdown instead of throwing the interception to Malcolm Butler?
They would win that game.
Does that really change their trajectory? Do they win the follow? Do they try to go for a three-peat the following season?
I think they try to go for it, but I don't know if they'll win it.
Okay. Yeah, after watching what happened to Kansas City when they ran out of steam and ran to a buzzsaw.
Yeah, but he just it's just one of those things. Like it, I think a lot of times we come to plays, um, you got to think of the overall team, right? And who the key players are. I think like another game was um, let's say for instance when let's say if the Rams would have beat Tom Brady's Patriots for his first Super Bowl, do you think he would have continued to be the GOAT, or you think that would have derailed him from having his career that he had?
I don't know because they actually didn't make the playoffs the following year,
Mm.
so it's not like they would have been driven more because
Mm-hmm.
you know they finished 9-7 the following year and didn't even make the playoffs, and it was the year after that
Mm-hmm.
that is really what started it. Um, I think the only change would be they probably win the Super Bowl the following year
Mm.
because they were that close. They would have been. They may have repeated because
Mm.
they won 3 and 4 years. They may have won that that following year and then won the following 2 years. So to me, that's the only real difference.
Yeah.
Now, the question that we always like to ask is if Bo Jackson's hip doesn't get dislocated, do the Raiders win the championship with him?
I don't know. And the reason being is the AFC was tough back then. I mean, they had Cincinnati with Boomer Esiason. They had the Dolphins. Uh, who else? The Bills. I mean, the Bills defense was like stellar. You know, the the Raiders. I think their quarterback at the time was it Todd Marinovich? Is his name? Was it Todd Marinovich their quarterback during that time?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah.
Their quarterback was Steve Berline.
Oh, Steve Berline. Oh, wow, Steve Berline. Steve
So,
Berline.
but it's interesting though because he got hurt in 1990.
Hmm.
Okay, in the playoffs of 1990. Um, do you know who won the Super Bowl? The playoffs of 1990.
Giants.
No. Well, yes,
Wasn't
they
it
beat
Giants?
the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So that begs the question: if he doesn't get hurt in that game, do they beat the Bills that year? And do they beat the Giants?
I don't think so. Because that means that they would have to go to Buffalo to beat Buffalo. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that year, I think Buffalo only lost one game that year at home. Or I could be wrong, but something I read, like, they didn't lose a lot of home games.
Well, they were 13-3 that year.
Okay. 13-3. So that means that of those three games, were there any home losses?
No, they were 13-3. They were 8-0 at home. In
Right.
fact,
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was something like that I was reading, but yeah, so like that's a tall task. Not saying Bo can't do it, but their defense, well, they had Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett, Marcus Patton. Uh, they had a couple of studs as far as DBs. So their defense was solid. I think the only team that could beat the Bills besides the Giants was the people who they lost to was the Cowboys, the Giants, and I think that year they lost against the Redskins. The Redskins had a solid offense with with
so
Art Monk.
the three losses that the Bills had this year, and I know you're just doing it for memory, so I'm not going to hold it against you. They lost to Washington,
Mm-hmm.
they lost to the Houston Oilers, and lost to the Miami Dolphins.
Oh,
And the Raiders were no slouch. They were 12-4 that season.
mm,
That Bo got hurt, and they were rolling.
yeah.
They won 5 straight going into the playoffs.
Was Marcus Allen there when he got hurt?
Um, yes,
Oh, okay. Well, that changes. I mean, yeah. Now to think about it, they could. I mean, they had. Ooh, that's a nasty backfield. Oh shit, that's a
BJ,
nasty backfield.
BJ, I know it's hard to talk, but I mean, what are your thoughts? If Bo Jackson does not get hurt, do they beat the Buffalo Bills the first year the Bills make the Super Bowl?
No, not if the Bills get ahead of them.
Okay.
I don't think the Raiders can come back. The Bills jumped back in those days. If the Bills jumped out on you, that was it.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think that's the case.
Okay. Still interesting. What if if he did not get hurt?
I totally forgot that they had Marcus Allen on that team.
And Howie Long, Bob Golick,
Yes. Who were their receivers? Oh, it was Tim Brown and I think Willie Galt.
Willie Galt, and Mervin Fernandez were the starters.
Mm.
I think
Was
Tim
Tim Brown
Brown.
there?
Tim Brown may have been a.
Oh, he came that next year.
Um, that's weird. I thought he came out in '89. Yeah, he was drafted in '88. I don't know why he's not a starter in '90. So
Mm.
there's got to be a reason why.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he played 16 games. He didn't start a single one in 1990.
Mm.
Had 18 catches.
That's crazy.
I don't remember why, but I wasn't that old back then. So
I want to say, didn't during that like the before he got drafted, he was at Notre Dame. I think
y-
didn't Tim Brown and Rocket Ishmael was both on Notre Dame?
no,
No. Okay.
no. Rocket came in the year after,
Oh, yeah, that would have been a nasty wide
and
receiver.
some dumbass coach thought it was okay to kick it off to him twice in the same game. Fucking Bo. Dumbass.
Oh yeah, Raheem Ishmael.
And I know he had a cousin that played at Syracuse.
No, that was his brother.
It was his brother.
Yep, Quadri Ishmael. They call him the missile. He ended up having a better career than Raheem or Rocket because he played. He was on that Ravens team, the first Ravens team that won the Super Bowl. I think in 2001.
It wasn't because of him.
Right. Hey, he can say he got a ring.
So does Chad Henne.
A win is a win.
Carson Wentz has a ring.
Hey, on the team. That's what's that NBA player that got all those rings? I'm not talking about is it Jack? What's his name? Jack something. There's an NBA player where he got like 5 rings and he played on 5 different championship teams. Is it Jack Skays? I think his name is Jack Skays. His dad's name is Dolph Skays. He was an NBA player and coach. But Jack Skays got like I think 5 rings for 5 different teams. I think it was. I think it's Jack Skays. I think his name. I know his first name was Jack, and he got like 5 different rings, 5 different teams, something like
I don't know. See, Dolph Shays. Okay. I don't see any connection to a Jack.
that. I think. But there's a person. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. No, I'm sorry. Maybe is it? What's his name? Is it? But there's a guy, and I was just watching.
I'm
They
sure
said,
it's some bench warmer on the Lakers that was on the team that played backup center.
yeah. What was his name? What was, what was his name? It's not Jack. It's Jack something else. But he has like just as many. He has more rings than a Hall of Famer. He was just on the bench. I can't think of the guy's name. He played. You're right. He played on the Bulls. I think he did play on the Bulls. Uh,
Okay. So while you're thinking about that, I've got a little funny story. So I went to the Magic game on Wednesday. It was actually the one game that they lost. They lost to the Rockets, and we were going through the Kia Center, and they had all like some of the old players, kind of like cardboard cutouts of them. And I asked my daughter, it's like, hey, do you know who these are? And she went, well, okay, so that one, that's Tracy McGrady. Okay, good job. I taught you well. She's like, that looks like Shaquille O'Neal, but he's skinny. I'm like, no, that's Shaquille O'Neal. And she was like, he was skinny? It's like, yeah, yes. Well, he was never really skinny, but it's like, why did he leave Orlando? like, okay, let me teach you about racism.
Man, it was bad.
I was like, and I told her because some sports writer, and I pulled up the article for her, asked the people of Orlando if Shaquille O'Neal was worth $100 million, and what she told me was, I don't need a poll. I know the answer is yes. She's
Well,
13. I I will never. Was it Bianchi that did that? I would never forgive him.
hmm Yep. I wonder what happened to him. Is he still alive?
He's still around. He's still doing the barking bulldog on um, JRR. I'm like, you just go away. Just stop talking. You don't know what you're talking about. Just go away.
And he's still around. I'm surprised he wasn't ran out of town. Like he really screwed us, man. And Shaq was like, I was gonna stay and sign for less money until he said that, and then
Yeah, it's like,
um, the rest is history. Dr. Bus.
yeah.
No, not Dr. Bus. It was
It was Jerry West that got him in.
Jerry West. It was Jerry West. But hey, let me talk to you. Just think about like the Magic had like two fuck ups in their organization that caused us so much grief. You got the sack situation, and you had fucking Doc Rivers with Tim Duncan. He just wanted his family on a fucking plane. You want to tell him he can't do that?
I sent you guys that link, and it made BJ sad. Like, what would have happened if we had T Mac, Tim Duncan, and Grant Hill?
Dude, unstoppable, man. Unstoppable. No.
No, no.
Doc Rivers
We,
still
we
in the
had we
fucking
had
league.
to hire the most overrated head coach in NBA history.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Matter of fact, it was an NBA player who called him out, and they were like, "Was it Baby Davis?" He was like, "Man, nobody was fucking listening to Doc, man." They said pretty much the veterans in the locker room and Thibodeau was who they respected.
Yeah. Oh, in answer to the question earlier, the guy you're thinking of is Mark Madsen. He is a
Okay.
career 2.2 points per game scorer. He has stats that rival the Marv Ball. He has 2 championship rings with the Lakers.
Uh, what about Slava Medvedenko? Stephen A. Smith used to trash that man, and that man, all he did was, I think it was a backup forward. I think he got. Does he have any championships for the Lakers?
I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, he has 2.
Yeah, yeah,
He actually averaged 5.3 points per game.
yeah, yeah. Slava played some games. I mean, I don't know how significant it was, but
Oh yeah, he was getting trashed by Stephen A. Smith because he was getting torched by Rasheed Wallace.
yeah. I mean, you know what? Rasheed Wallace is one of those players to where, like, let's say if he had his attitude in check, like, what heights could he have gone to? Because she can shoot, he can put the ball on the floor, like, like she was like, she was the man. I think about that, like how if he, let's say, if he wasn't known for the technicals and being brash, like, could he have been considered with the Garnets or close to Tim Duncan, right? Because back in the day when he was with Portland, like he was one of those games. Even Tim Duncan made reference of it. He was like, yeah, like going to go see Portland and Rasheed Wallace, like that was a challenge for me because she was one of the ones where he could pull up, he could hit three. It caused Duncan to have to come out of the paint and guard the perimeter. If you don't, she can hit it.
Who would you rather have on your team, Rasheed Wallace or Ron Artest?
Ron Artest. My opinion, before it was Kawhi, it was Ron Artest. Played both sides of the ball. Can lock down your best defender and score 18, 19, 20 points. But she's a good rebounder. Um, I don't know, man. That's tough. That's tough. Okay. Oh, all right, all right, all right. Are you talking about Indiana Ron Artest against
Any
uh?
any of it. I mean, I'm just saying, who would you rather have?
Damn, that's a good one. That's a good one. I can't. That's not an easy answer because I think about all right playoffs when you having your. That's a good question, man. We should do a poll. That's a good one you can't just say oh she, but it's like all right, well Ron Artest Ron Artest was a bully on defense. Like Ron Artest said, okay, I want your best player and I want him and I'm gonna give you 20 plus points. Rashid can stretch the floor, he can hit three. You know what? That's tough. Because I was gonna, oh, okay. I'll say this. Can I answer this way? Regular season, Ron Artest. Playoffs, I'm taking Sheed.
Yeah, they both have the same amount of rings.
Yeah,
Um, Ron Artest was a better 3-point shooter.
yeah, yeah. Because I'm thinking back in those days, like you had to go up against San Antonio, right? If you play in the West, you had to go up against San Antonio, right? Or Rasheed Wallace can help keep Duncan out of the paint, which they allow your guards to be able to drive in, you know, get points and stuff. Ron Artest, he can guard your best perimeter player, but back then we had some solid big men. So it's like, yeah, I'm thinking regular season, Ron Artest. Playoffs, for me, I'll choose Sheed for playoffs.
Would you rather have James Harden or Carmelo Anthony?
James Harden.
Okay.
And so it's playoffs. James Harden you can switch him out from shooting guard to point guard. Melo gets you buckets, but Melo, I look at versatile players, right? I look at like how many ways I can use this one player. Melo is a solid three, like he's a small forward. In today's NBA, he can play the four, but he's not a four, right? James Harden can legit play point guard. So for me, I would go James Harden.
Okay. If BJ could talk, he'd probably be throwing something at you right now. But that's okay.
I'm sure.
So, okay. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to call it a night. Um, I think all of us are kind of running out of steam. BJ needs some hot tea. So, y'all have a great one. And this has been Sandlot Sports.
Peace.